Some individuals will take advantage of you without thinking twice, and not everyone who asks for your assistance deserves it. You should never waste your time, effort, or compassion on the following kinds of people. Have you ever been helpful to someone and then felt taken advantage of or undervalued? The ugly truth is that occasionally people take advantage of or even take advantage of your compassion. While helping others is admirable, not everyone is deserving of it. While some will manipulate your generosity or use you as a crutch, others will not appreciate your efforts. In this video, we will examine the kinds of people you should stop helping, not because being kind is bad, but rather because it is essential to save your time, energy, and mental health. Let us get started. The unending victim. Everyone has come across someone who seems to be in a crisis all the time. Drama, toxic relationships, unpleasant bosses, financial difficulties, and unending bad luck are all part of their lives. You initially feel obliged to intervene. You believe that all they need is a little assistance to get back on course. However, no amount of work is ever sufficient. There was a friend of mine who was constantly troubled. We will refer to her as Sarah. She used to call me crying and complain about her awful boss. To assist her find something better, I would listen to her for hours on end, giving her advice and even emailing her job postings. She was furious about her partner a few weeks later, followed by her landlord and her unjust friends who did not get her. Every time, I gave up everything to be with her. But as time went on, I saw a trend. Sarah was doing nothing to change her circumstances. She consistently returned to the same toxic relationships, ignored all of my advice, and did not apply for new jobs. Rather, she constantly found an excuse for why things could not be different. She would say, "It is just the way my life is." I initially held myself responsible. Perhaps I am not offering the best counsel. Perhaps I am not helping enough. But then it dawned on me. Sarah wanted attention, not assistance. She needed someone who would acknowledge her difficulties without requiring her to accept accountability. The ugly truth is that some people have an addiction to the victim persona. The fact that it releases them from responsibility makes it cozy. No one has to put in the effort to change their situation if everything is someone else's fault. And believe me when I say that it is exhausting to assist a continuous victim. Your emotional and mental energy are also depleted, in addition to your time. I could not stop worrying about Sarah, mentally reliving our chat and wondering what further I might do to support her. In the meantime, she continued to live her life in the same manner, totally unaware of the toll it was having on me. I eventually had to establish limits. It was not simple. It was not well received by Sarah. She accused me of being uncaring and of leaving her when she most needed me. In actuality, though, she did not require my assistance. She had to confront her own truth. I was just keeping her hooked by repeatedly stepping in. A challenging yet crucial lesson. It is not kindness to assist someone who refuses to accept responsibility. Rather, it is enabling. Giving someone the resources and room to work through their problems independently is what true compassion is all about, not solving their problems for them. Consider this: is your assistance truly changing anything, or is it merely perpetuating a person's cycle of powerlessness? Are you becoming their crutch, or are you actually fostering their growth? You are not a bad person if you take a step back. It may even be the most affectionate thing you do for yourself as well as for them. You cannot save someone who does not want to be saved, since that is the reality. You run the risk of losing yourself if you try. Do not waste your efforts on those who are prepared to make even the smallest change in their lives. They are the ones who will appreciate your assistance and make it worthwhile. The eternal victim must confront their difficulties alone in order to understand that they are the only ones who can save themselves. The repeat borrower, this type of individual, who constantly appears to require a little assistance, is someone we all know. It begins innocently enough. They ask for a ride, borrow a little sum of money, or require your help to get out of a difficult situation. You lend a hand because you care, and it is really not that big of a deal, is it? However, it continues to occur. All of a sudden, You find yourself their own problem solver, therapist, driver, or bank. I used to work with a guy named Jake. Jake was good at borrowing tiny amounts of money, whether it was a ride home, a few bucks for lunch, or even assistance paying a bill when he misplaced his wallet. I did not mind at first. Everyone experiences difficult moments after all, and I felt that it was important to support others. Then I saw a trend though. Jake never reimbursed me unless I specifically asked him to, and even then, he would pretend that it was a hassle. Even worse, Jake did not just borrow from me. Other coworkers began to share similar stories with me. He would use guilt tripping to get them to cover for him, borrow money without paying it back, and make it seem like everyone was to blame for his financial difficulties. The significant revelation is that repeated borrowers view your generosity as a resource to which they are entitled, not as generosity. Additionally, they frequently use sympathetic people who are reluctant to say no because they depend on charm or guilt to get what they want. The tough part is that folks like Jake frequently appear sincere in their desire. You feel horrible about saying no when they tell you about their struggles. The problem is that the majority of repeat borrowers are trapped in a dependency mindset. They take the easy route and rely on others to handle their difficulties, rather than coming up with solutions on their own. Assisting a repeat borrower has a personal cost. At first, helping them may seem like the right thing to do, but there are costs involved. Their incessant demands might eventually deplete your time, money, and emotional reserves. I recall believing it was a one-time situation and agreeing to assist. Jake paid his phone bill. He returned a month later with still another justification. By the third time, I saw that I was actually making it worse for him by allowing him to fail to handle his obligations. The underlying lesson here is that kindness has its boundaries. Being someone's crutch and truly assisting someone in need are two different things. Being their answer is not your responsibility, particularly if they are not making any efforts to better their circumstances. Learning to say no is the difficult part. At first, it felt harsh to me. I was afraid Jake would think I was being self-centered or that I did not care. But as time went on, I came to understand that saying no preserves your boundaries and does not imply cruelty. Additionally, it makes it quite evident that their actions are unsustainable. Here are some things to be aware of. Whether it be cash, time, or effort, they never return the favor. They steal without giving anything in return. Every time, they come up with a different reason. They constantly have an excuse for not being able to repay you, but they continue their bad behavior. They depend on others to cover the gaps rather than reducing wasteful spending or coming up with solutions. Finally, while it is great to help those in need, you should not be responsible for correcting someone else's bad behaviors. The only way serial borrowers will learn accountability is if others stop supporting them. Keep in mind that you have limited resources, whether they be financial, emotional, or otherwise. For those who truly value it and are prepared to learn from it, save your energy. Expressing no is sometimes a better method to assist someone than expressing yes. The trickster, because they dominate rather than just take. Manipulators are among the most hazardous persons to assist. To further their goals, they manipulate your generosity and instill guilt. A manipulator knows just how to take advantage of your feelings, unlike someone who is truly in need. They want your acquiescence, not your assistance, via flattery, guilt trips, or instilling a sense of duty. I will always remember my encounter with someone like this. He will be known as Mark. In addition to being affable and engaging, Mark always seemed to know how to obtain what he wanted. Initially, it was wonderful to assist him. He used to say things like, "You are such a lifesaver," as a way to praise me. "Without you, I am not sure what I would do." But as time went on, I became aware of an oddity. He would always turn the tables on me when I tried to say no or set limits. He once requested me to assist him in completing a work project at the last minute, for instance. I hesitated since I had deadlines of my own. He exclaimed right away, "Whoa, I did not believe you were the type to abandon a friend. I would definitely do this for you." Suddenly, I felt bad and consented to assist, despite the fact that it made me anxious and hurried to complete my own task. How manipulators work. Guilt tripping. They make you feel cold or self-centered for refusing. Flattery. They make you feel important or needed by putting you at ease. Playing the victim. They portray you as their sole hope by framing their requests as dire circumstances. Subtle threats. They suggest that failing to assist could have negative effects on your opportunities, friendship, or reputation. The subtlety of manipulators is the frightening aspect. Until it is too late, you might not even be aware that you are being used. In my situation, it was not until I began to feel exhausted and irritated that I realized Mark was manipulating me. I had devoted so much of my time and effort to him, but he never reciprocated, not even with sincere appreciation. The true price of aiding a manipulator. Assisting someone such as, when they see that you are no longer a simple target, they will see that your generosity is a gift that should be given to those who truly value it, rather than those who use it for personal benefit. It is not benevolent to assist a manipulator. It is letting yourself be dominated. Be strong, be firm, and above all, keep your peace. The dreamer who is too lazy. Everyone enjoys a good dreamer, someone who has the courage to see a better future and strives to achieve it. Another kind of dreamer, however, is one who talks incessantly about their ambitious intentions, but never does anything to bring them to fruition. These are the dreamers who are lazy. They have a lot of ideas, aspirations, and high standards, but they never act on them because they are either waiting for the appropriate moment or depending on others to do the work. I recall a man named Chris who was similar to this. Chris never lacked a brilliant idea. It was an app that would transform food delivery one week, then a book he was planning to write that would transform lives the next. He would talk about his vision for hours on end, going into depth about every big idea, even down to the smallest detail or narrative twist. I was initially motivated by his zeal. In the hopes that his enthusiasm might spread, I even offered to assist with some of the preparation. However, I quickly came to the crucial realization that Chris had no interest in doing the work. Every time I inquired about his progress, he would make an excuse. He would say things like, "I am just figuring out the technicalities," or "I am still waiting for the appropriate time to start." Weeks, months, and years went by in the interim, and his dreams stayed just that, dreams. Why it is a trap to assist lazy dreamers. Supporting their goals first feels exciting. You believe in their vision because of how convincingly they speak. The problem is that lazy dreamers are more enamored with the concept of achievement than with the actual process of attaining it. When they share their ambitious intentions, they get attention and appreciation, but they do not want to make the sacrifices and work necessary to make them a reality. You end up bearing the entire burden when you assist them. While they sit back and brag about how wonderful it will all be, they will let you do the research, make the plans, and occasionally even invest your own funds. And they never blame themselves when things do not work out. Instead, they blame the timing, other people, or the situation. The price of assisting a dreamer who is lazy. Not only is it a waste of time to assist a lazy dreamer, but it can also cause your own objectives to be derailed. I spent weeks brainstorming ideas, putting Chris in touch with people in my network, and helping him create mock-ups for his app. All of it ultimately failed because Chris was unwilling to go forward. Instead, I felt exhausted and frustrated, when I might have utilized that energy to work on my own initiatives. The important lesson. Dreams are useless if nothing is done. You cannot carry someone else's dreams for them, even though it is admirable to want to support their vision. No amount of your assistance will benefit someone who is not willing to put in the effort necessary for success. How to spot a lazy dreamer. They talk more than they act. Their ideas are endless, but there's no follow-through. They avoid accountability. They blame external factors, timing, resources, other people, when nothing gets done. They expect others to do the hard work, whether it's funding, connections, or planning. They rely on others to execute their vision. They repeat the cycle despite a long history of unfinished projects. They always have a new big idea to pitch. A word of caution. Helping a lazy dreamer can feel like kindness at first, but it's a form of enabling. The more you do for them, the less they're forced to take responsibility for their own ambitions. Sometimes the best way to help is to step back and let them figure it out on their own. A hard truth: not everyone deserves your time and energy, especially if they're not willing to match it. If someone isn't willing to invest in their own dreams, why should you use your energy to support people who are actively working toward their goals, not just dreaming about them? Final thought. Dreams are powerful, but they require action to come alive. Helping a lazy dreamer isn't kindness. It's carrying someone who refuses to walk. Save your strength for people who are ready to climb with you, not those who expect to be carried to the top. The Gossip Monger. Gossip mongers thrive on chaos. They live for the latest drama, spreading half-truths, exaggerations, and outright lies to keep the spotlight on someone else's problems. They're not interested in building others up or solving conflicts. Instead, they seek to tear people down, often under the guise of just sharing. These people might seem harmless at first, but helping them can be a mistake that costs you your peace, reputation, and even relationships. I had a colleague like this once. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah always seemed to know everything about everyone. At first, it felt intriguing. She'd pull me aside and whisper, "Did you hear what happened to John? I'm just telling you because I thought you should know." It felt like I was being trusted with inside information. But over time, I noticed a pattern. Every conversation with Sarah revolved around someone else's misfortune, mistakes, or personal life. I fell into the trap of listening, sometimes even participating, thinking it was harmless venting. But then it hit me. If she could talk about others so easily behind their backs, what was she saying about me when I wasn't around? That realization made me uneasy. But the real turning point came when Sarah started using gossip to manipulate situations. How gossip mongers operate. 1. They use gossip as currency. Gossip mongers trade information like it's a commodity, offering juicy details in exchange for your time, trust, or allegiance. 2. They stir conflict. They thrive on creating tension by sharing selective or distorted information. They pit people against each other, often just to watch the fallout. 3. They avoid accountability. When confronted, they backpedal with excuses like, "I was just joking," or "I only said it because I care." 4. They seek validation. Gossip mongers often use stories about others to make themselves feel superior or to draw attention to their own perceived virtues. Why helping a gossip monger is dangerous. Helping a gossip monger, whether by listening, engaging, or even sympathizing, can harm you more than you realize. First, you become complicit in their behavior, even if unintentionally. People begin associating you with the drama, assuming you're part of the problem. Second, gossip mongers rarely value loyalty. The same person you helped by lending an ear or defending them can turn around and spread rumors about you. In my case, Sarah eventually twisted one of our conversations into something it wasn't. She told someone else that I had said things I never did, painting me as the bad guy. It created unnecessary tension and made me realize the high cost of associating with someone like her. The deeper message: gossip might seem harmless, even entertaining, but it's a toxic cycle that hurts everyone involved. Helping a gossip monger doesn't just damage others. It damages your own integrity. Trust, once lost, is incredibly hard to rebuild, and being linked to gossip can ruin your reputation, even if your intentions were innocent. How to spot a gossip monger. They always have news to share. Their conversations are filled with stories about others, often framed as shocking, scandalous, or secret. They never keep confidences. If they're sharing someone else's private matters with you, they'll do the same with yours. They thrive on drama. They seem to enjoy stirring the pot and are rarely interested in solutions or reconciliation. They downplay their role when called out. They minimize their behavior, acting as if they were merely passing along harmless information. How to protect yourself. Refuse to engage. Politely but firmly steer the conversation away from gossip. Say something like, "I'd rather not talk about that," or "I'm not comfortable discussing someone else's business." Don't confide in them. Assume that anything you say could be shared with others. Call them out gently. If appropriate, let them know the impact of their behavior without attacking them. For example, "I think it's better to focus on resolving issues directly with the person involved." Distance yourself. If their behavior doesn't change, it might be best to limit your interactions with them. A hard truth. Helping a gossip monger by listening or participating enables their toxic cycle. It might feel like you're being a supportive friend or colleague, but in reality, you're only adding fuel to the fire. Worse, their actions can spill over into your life, dragging you into conflicts and tarnishing your relationships. The final lesson. Your energy and attention are precious. Spend them on people who uplift others, not those who tear them down. Gossip mongers may seem entertaining or harmless, but their actions are corrosive. By refusing to engage, you not only protect yourself, but also take a stand for integrity and kindness. Let them talk while you focus on building something real, because words without purpose are just noise. The competitive friend. Friendship is supposed to be about support, mutual respect, and shared growth. But every now and then, you encounter someone who turns everything into a competition. The competitive friend isn't interested in celebrating your successes. They're too busy trying to one-up you. No matter what you do, they have to do it better, bigger, or faster, and helping someone like this can quickly become exhausting and even damaging. I had a friend like this once. Let's call him Adam. At first, Adam seemed inspiring, always driven, always chasing his goals. I admired his determination and thought it would push me to do better in my own life. But over time, I noticed something unsettling. Every time I shared an achievement, whether big or small, Adam would immediately shift the conversation to his own accomplishments. If I landed a new job, he'd talk about how much better his position was. If I started working out and shared a fitness goal, he'd respond with how much he could already lift or how fast he could run. At first, I tried to brush it off, thinking maybe he was just excited about his own progress. But then came the subtle put-downs. If I shared something I was proud of, he'd find a way to minimize it. "That's good, but you know what you should have done instead." Or "Yeah, but I heard that doesn't really work." Why helping a competitive friend feels draining. Competitive friends rarely reciprocate the energy you put into the relationship. Instead of celebrating your wins, they view them as threats. When you try to support them, your encouragement often gets twisted into an opportunity for them to outshine you. Helping them chase their goals might feel like you're being a good friend, but in reality, you're just feeding their ego and enabling their need to compete. The problem with competitive friends. 1. They can't celebrate your wins. Every achievement you share becomes a trigger for their insecurities, leading them to downplay your success or shift focus to themselves. 2. They turn friendship into a contest. Even casual conversations can feel like a scoreboard, with them constantly trying to win the interaction. 3. They drain your energy. Supporting someone who is more focused on beating you than growing with you leaves you feeling undervalued and emotionally spent. 4. They undermine your confidence. Over time, their constant comparisons and subtle jabs can make you second-guess your own accomplishments. The deep lesson. A true friend sees your success as a shared joy, not a threat. Friendship is about lifting each other up, not competing to stay on top. Helping a competitive friend often means putting yourself in a position to be overshadowed or criticized, and that's not a healthy dynamic. How to handle a competitive friend. 1. Acknowledge their behavior. Pay attention to how they react to your successes or how often they turn the conversation back to themselves. 2. Set boundaries. You don't have to share every detail of your life with someone who can't handle it gracefully. Be selective about what you discuss. 3. Avoid the game. Don't fall into the trap of trying to compete with them. Focus on your own journey instead of trying to keep up. 4. Limit your support. Offer encouragement where appropriate, but don't overextend yourself for someone who can't reciprocate. 5. Evaluate the friendship. If their competitive nature consistently brings negativity into your life, it may be time to distance yourself. A personal realization. After months of trying to help Adam with his goals and listening to him downplay mine, I realized the friendship wasn't balanced. Every interaction left me feeling drained and unappreciated. I decided to pull back, not out of malice, but out of self-respect. I stopped sharing my achievements with him and focused on surrounding myself with people who genuinely celebrated my wins and inspired me without comparison. A hard truth about competitive friends. Sometimes their competitiveness isn't about you at all. It's about their own insecurities. They measure their worth by comparison, and helping them often reinforces this unhealthy mindset. You can't fix their self-esteem, and trying to do so will only pull you into their game. Final thought. A good friend is a teammate, not a rival. They cheer for you in your victories and stand by you in your struggles. If someone can't celebrate your growth without making it about themselves, they don't deserve a front-row seat in your life. Life is challenging enough without turning friendships into contests. Invest your time and energy in people who bring out the best in you, not those who see you as competition. The Envious Saboteur. The envious saboteur is a uniquely harmful type of person. They're not content with their own lives and can't stand to see others succeed. Instead of celebrating your wins or even simply minding their own business, they'll actively try to tear you down. Their envy consumes them, turning admiration into bitterness and closeness into sabotage. Helping someone like this isn't just unproductive. It can actively harm you. A personal story. I had a friend, let's call her Lisa, who seemed incredibly supportive at first. Whenever I shared my dreams or successes, she'd smile and offer kind words. But as time went on, I started noticing little cracks in her facade. Whenever I told her about something I was working toward, she'd subtly discourage me. "Are you sure you're ready for that? It sounds risky," or "I heard that's really competitive. You might want to rethink." I brushed it off as concern at first, but then things escalated. She started spreading doubts about me to mutual friends. "I don't think they can handle that kind of pressure," she'd say, or "they're just lucky. It's not like they work that hard." When I confronted her, she denied everything, insisting I was imagining things, but the damage was done. I realized her envy had been eroding our friendship from the start. The behavior of an envious saboteur. 1. They downplay your achievements. They'll dismiss your hard work as luck or timing, minimizing the effort you've put in. 2. They plant seeds of doubt. Envious saboteurs often use subtle discouragement to shake your confidence. They'll frame their criticism as concern or advice. 3. They undermine your reputation behind your back. They'll spread rumors, cast doubts, or try to make others see you in a less favorable light. 4. They pretend to support you on the surface. They may seem like your biggest cheerleader, but their actions rarely match their words. Why helping them backfires? Helping an envious saboteur often means exposing yourself to their negativity and sabotage. These individuals don't want to grow alongside you. They want to pull you down to their level. Offering them advice, support, or even friendship often becomes a one-sided exchange where you give, and they take without gratitude or reciprocity. Worse, they may use the information or opportunities you provide to work against you. The deep message. Envy is a corrosive emotion, both for the person feeling it and for those around them. When you help someone who can't overcome their envy, you're essentially enabling their toxic behavior. It's a harsh reality, but some people will never be happy for you because your success reminds them of their own perceived failures. How to handle an envious saboteur. Recognize the signs. Pay attention to how they respond to your achievements. Are they genuinely happy for you, or do they try to downplay or criticize you? 2. Limit your vulnerability. Be cautious about sharing your goals, plans, or successes with someone who has a track record of envy or sabotage. 3. Set clear boundaries. If their behavior crosses the line, it's important to address it directly or create distance. 4. Don't seek their approval. You don't need validation from someone who's invested in seeing you fail. Focus on your own journey and the people who genuinely support you. 5. Focus on solutions, not drama. If they try to stir up conflict, don't get drawn into their games. Keep your focus on your goals and values. A tough truth. Envious saboteurs often don't realize or won't admit what they're doing. Their actions stem from their own insecurities, and no amount of your help can fix that. It's not your job to heal someone who is actively trying to hurt you. A final thought. Success can be polarizing. It attracts genuine supporters and hidden saboteurs. The key is to discern between the two. Helping an envious saboteur might feel like the high road, but it often leads to heartbreak and betrayal. Instead, channel your energy into people who celebrate your wins as their own and who inspire you to become better. Life is too short to spend it battling someone else's demons, especially when those demons are aimed at you. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and that it gave you some valuable insights into handling toxic friendships. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Your support means the world to us. Drop a comment below if you have any thoughts or experiences you'd like to share. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.